You know the smell. You walk into a brand new house, the paint's still perfect, the floor is unscratched, nobody's ever cooked in the kitchen, and you breathe in, and there it is, that clean, sharp, slightly chemical smell that everybody calls new. Show homes are built around it. Realtors love it. People walk in, inhale, and say the same thing every single time. It smells brand new. Here's what nobody tells you. That smell is not the thing that's going to hurt you. The thing that's going to hurt you has no smell at all. You cannot detect it. It's in the cabinets, it's in the floor, it's inside the walls, and it will still be there long after that new smell has faded and you've stopped thinking about it entirely. It's not a leak, it's not contamination, it's what the house is made of. And there is no law anywhere that says anyone has to tell you it's in there. The chemical is formaldehyde, and before you picture a lab or a spill or something that went wrong, stop, because formaldehyde isn't in your house by accident. It's in there by design. It's the glue. Engineered wood, particleboard, MDF, plywood, is made of chips and fibers and thin sheets held together with formaldehyde-based resin. That's your kitchen cabinets, your subfloor, your laminate, the flat pack dresser you put together last weekend. Every one of them is wood dust plus glue, pressed hard. So this isn't something that got into your home. This is what your home is made of. So back to that smell, because this is where most people get it exactly backwards. At the levels found in a normal home, formaldehyde is colorless and it is odorless. You cannot smell it. Whatever you're smelling when you walk into that new build, paints, solvents, adhesives, packaging, it isn't the formaldehyde. And that matters more than you'd think, because those smells leave first. Formaldehyde takes longer to clear than most of the other compounds coming out of the same materials, so the smell fades, everyone relaxes, the house feels finished, and the levels are still elevated. The warning goes quiet before the problem does. Now, let me be honest with you, because this is where these videos usually oversell it. Formaldehyde is everywhere, it's natural. Your own body produces it right now as you're watching this. Decaying leaves release it. Fire releases it. Every candle, every gas stove, every cigarette. It's in outdoor air. There is no version of your life without it. And the EPA is explicit. Finding that formaldehyde poses a risk does not mean a single exposure is going to harm you. Walking through a new house won't hurt you. Assembling a bookshelf won't hurt you. This was never a story about poison. It's a story about dose and duration and what happens when you live inside the source. So how does a chemical that's glued inside a solid sheet of wood end up in the air you're breathing? Here's the thing about that resin. When they press the board, the formaldehyde reacts and bonds, but not all of it, and not permanently. Some of it never reacted in the first place, and the bonds that did form can break down slowly over time, especially when there's moisture around. So the chemical migrates. It works its way out of the solid, reaches the surface, and leaves into your air. That's off-gassing, not a leak, not a defect, just a material slowly giving back what was built into it. And it takes a long time. Most of it comes out in the first 6 months to 2 years, but most is not all. It can take weeks, months, and in some cases years to disappear completely. That board in your kitchen has been quietly exhaling since the day it was cut. Now here's the part that makes everything else in this video make sense. It has a throttle, and the throttle is heat. Formaldehyde release goes up with temperature and humidity. Hot, humid day, more comes out, which is why levels run higher in summer and higher in warm climates, and higher in an attic bedroom than a cool hallway. Same house, same materials, different day, different air. Sit with that because there's a trap inside it. When is your house hottest? Summer. And what do you do in summer? You close every window and run the air conditioning. The emission peaks at the exact moment the ventilation stops. So stop thinking of your home as a container that's holding a chemical. It isn't. It's a source. It's exhaling. And it exhales harder when it's warm. So what are the actual numbers? A conventional home sits around 20 parts per billion. about 25 micrograms per cubic meter. A manufactured home runs closer to 40, roughly double, for one simple reason: more pressed wood per square foot. When researchers measured brand new houses, they landed at a geometric mean of around 40 parts per billion, and they named the culprits: plywood flooring, latex paint, sheet vinyl. And a home packed with new pressed wood products can push past 0.3 parts per million. That's about 15 times a typical indoor level. For scale, Health Canada's long-term guideline, the one built specifically to protect children with asthma, is 50 micrograms per cubic meter. Now hold that number in your head while I tell you the part that should genuinely bother you. There is no universally accepted exposure limit for formaldehyde in the air inside a home. Not a weak one, not a badly enforced one. There isn't one. There are guidelines. The WHO suggests 0.081 parts per million, and there are rules governing what manufacturers can put into a board. The EPA's emission standards for composite wood started phasing in during 2018 and weren't fully implemented until 2024. But the air in your bedroom? Nobody's number, nobody's job. And this is the same agency that concluded formaldehyde presents an unreasonable risk to human health, including cancer from long-term inhalation. Unreasonable risk, and no limit on the room you sleep in. Nobody tells you because nobody has to. Here's what that looks like when it goes wrong. After Hurricane Katrina, FEMA housed displaced families in travel trailers. Residents started getting sick, so in the winter of 2007, the CDC tested 519 of them, occupied families living inside. The average came back at 77 parts per billion. Newer homes sit at 10 to 17, so 5 times a normal house. The worst trailer hit 590. Some were around 40 times recommended levels. Then they tested the trailers themselves and watched the throttle work in real time. Morning emissions, 173 to 266 micrograms per square meter per hour. Afternoon, as the sun came up and the metal box warmed, 257 to 347. Same trailer, same materials, just hotter. The CDC's director urged FEMA to move people out before summer. Children, the elderly, anyone with asthma first. And here's the line that should stop you cold. That testing happened in winter, 2 years after the trailers were built. The CDC said plainly that levels were probably higher when the units were newer and higher in warm weather. 77 was the good news. You might think that's a disaster response story. It isn't. In 2015, 60 Minutes tested Chinese-made laminate flooring sold by Lumber Liquidators, one of the biggest flooring retailers in America. The readings were so extreme, the lab staff assumed their own equipment was broken. It wasn't. Trading in the company's stock was halted the next morning. The CDC eventually corrected its own math upward. 6 to 30 extra cancer cases per 100,000 people, up from 2 to 9. And everyone exposed, not just sensitive people, was at risk of irritation. Over 100,000 homes had the stuff on the floor. Skipping the standard saved suppliers up to 15% on manufacturing. The company paid $33 million for misleading investors and $36 million to settle with customers. And the EPA, it didn't investigate. Its national standard wasn't final yet. But here's the thing. Every number I just gave you assumes one thing, that the air in the house moves. It doesn't anymore. Old houses leaked, drafty windows, gaps under doors, air sneaking through the walls constantly. And that leakage was doing something nobody designed it to do. It was flushing the place out around the clock for free. We spent the last few decades fixing that, sealing envelopes, killing drafts, driving down energy bills, and it works. But tighten a building and you lower its air exchange, and lower air exchange means higher concentrations of whatever the building is emitting inside. A net zero home can exchange as little as 0.02 of its air per hour. Researchers don't dance around this. They call it a conundrum, the drive for energy efficiency running straight into the public health cost of trapped chemical exposure. The greener the box, the better it holds its breath. So open the windows, right? Here's where it stops being fair. When you ventilate, the walls emit harder, increasing airflow lowered formaldehyde, but up to 60% less than the physics predicts, because as the concentration in the air drops, the emission rate climbs to fill it back in. The material is fighting you. You're not draining a tank, you're arguing with a source. And building it right from the start only gets you so far. Homes made with certified low VOC materials came in 42% lower, 33 micrograms against 45. Better, not solved, so who actually pays for this? Not the people asking the question. If you can afford solid hardwood instead of MDF, if you can specify low-emission materials, if you can install a proper ventilation system, if you can leave a new build open and empty for a month before you move a single box in, you're fine. You are always going to be fine. Everybody else lives in what they were handed. It's children first, smaller bodies, faster breathing, more hours indoors than anyone, and their bedrooms are wall-to-wall pressed wood. That's not incidental. Health Canada set its long-term guideline around respiratory symptoms in children with asthma. They wrote the number for kids because kids are who it happens to. It's renters. Tenants don't choose the cabinets. You don't get to interrogate a landlord about the resin in the subfloor. It's anyone in a brand new home or a fresh renovation, which is to say, the exact thing sold to you as an upgrade. New is the risk factor. New is the entire product, and it's anyone in a hot climate where the throttle never closes. Which brings you back to those trailers, because those families didn't buy anything. They'd lost their homes in a hurricane. They were given shelter by their own government and then handed the winter numbers. So go back to that front door, that smell, the one that made the house feel new, the one everyone breathes in and comments on. It was never a warning. It was never telling you anything. And when it faded, that wasn't an all clear either. It was just the loudest thing in the room going quiet first, while the thing that actually mattered stayed exactly where it was, glued into the walls, doing what it was built to do. Your house isn't holding a chemical, it's making one, slowly, permanently, a little harder every time it gets warm. And modern homes are built specifically to hold that in. Nobody hid this. Nobody broke a rule. There was no rule to break. The chemical is in the walls on purpose, at a level nobody is required to measure in a house designed to hold its breath. You can't smell it. Nobody has to tell you, and the house is still breathing out.